Professor Mattoo, is there any getting away from the fact that it was specifically non-Muslims, Hindu men, who were identified and shot down? Yes, there are 2 Muslim men who have been killed as well. One of them, a pony owner who was just trying to protect his client. But there is little doubt about the fact that this was a communal killing, and it is one that will spin communal rhetoric. There is now no getting away from that.
No, you can't get away with the fact that this is the terrible, tragic reality of what happened in Pahalgam yesterday. But the only way in which you can get beyond that is to recognize that those who are trying to inject this deep communal poison, those who targeted Hindu men, and deliberately so, are the worst enemies of everything that idea of India and the idea of Jammu Kashmir. After all, the idea of Jammu Kashmir is a microcosm of the idea of India, which is that different faiths, different religions, different languages can coexist. And this idea is in complete opposition to the kind of idea that the army chief of Pakistan propagated the other day when he spoke to overseas Pakistanis. Obnoxious speech, a speech of which every Pakistani should be ashamed of, a speech which belongs to the most medieval extremist ideological strain. So if there is in some ways a pug mark, a DNA fingerprint, it's to that general who spoke the words that he did. And what you saw him was the gunmen, the terrorists in Pahalgam were really reflective of that ideology.
Professor Mattoo, at one point, and these are visuals that all of us have now seen, there is a 46-year-old tourist from Karnataka, Manjunath, who is shot dead. We'll put his pictures in just a bit. His wife tells the terrorist, "You have killed my husband, now kill me as well." There they are. And the terrorist goes on to say, "No, I will not. Go tell Modi this." What is this guy doing? He's daring the Indian state to say, "Now let's see what you do next."
One, of course, that's in some bizarre fashion, he was trying to say that we are going to kill men and not women. So this is, we are killing all these non-Muslims or Hindus in this case, but also sending a message to the Indian state. What can you do to us? And that's why, in word and deed, the Indian state has to respond. Action is risky, always is risky. But non-action today is going to be disastrous. If the Indian state and the Prime Minister, who's cut short his visit to Saudi Arabia and come back, does not respond to this humiliation, this terrible killing on Indian soil, then I'm afraid it'll be an erosion of all that we stand for in terms of ideas, in terms of ideology, in terms of the very construction of the idea of India.
Then in your view, what should the nature of that retaliation be? The timing can be left to the security forces and the government. They are the best ones to decide, not an angry public. But what should be the nature of that retaliation, sir?
Every army commander in the Indian Army has war gamed this, planned this. There are high-value targets. Together with diplomatic practices, together with economic measures, together with looking at even sacred, what you're seen as sacred treaties like the Indus Water Treaty. We know what the options are. The reality is we need the political will to exercise those options. There are options on the table, and there are options which can be escalated depending on how Pakistan responds. But at this time, when you have the United States and most of our allies speaking for us, any retaliation, any response which is proportionate to what happened in Pahalgam will win approval. Non-action will make you seem like just another weak democracy which talks stuff but does little else.
Can I finally, in conclusion, ask you, you are a Kashmiri as well, when you saw what happened in Pahalgam and the pictures that started coming to us by afternoon, I want to ask you what your first reaction was. Was it horror? Was it anger? Was it shame? Was it something else?
I was devastated. I was ashamed that this had happened on my motherland in Kashmir, that this terrible, terrible tragedy had occurred in Kashmir. And so I am in some ways pleased that across the spectrum, you have from within civil society or in politics in Kashmir, everyone come out in the streets against these killings and condemning them in unison, because there is no explanation, no justification. And this is the worst attack against Kashmir, worst attack against Kashmiris. The real sufferers are going to be not just the people and the families of those killed, but Kashmir as an idea, as a destination, and even we as a people.